Every year when June arrives and Operation Blue Star is discussed, a familiar cast of voices arises, asking a familiar litany of questions. Why are Sikhs still talking about Operation Blue Star? Why were there weapons inside the Akal Takht? There are many problems with questions like these. The first is an ignorance of the history and lived reality of Sikhi. This is the less serious issue because it can be addressed through even a basic engagement with the facts. The other, more troubling issue is the underlying assumption that an entire community must pay for the actions of a few, no matter the cost or the scale of the consequences. That logic would be rejected in almost every other context. It is not considered acceptable in principle that innocent civilians become collateral for the acts of others, nor that collective punishment replaces accountability. Yet when it comes to June 1984, these standards are often suspended, and the burden of explanation falls disproportionately on those who suffered the aftermath. Lost in these questions are the people who were there and their families, those who had come to Darbar Sahib for the Shahidi Divas of Guru Arjan Dev, the elderly, the men and women, the children, the ragis, the sevadars, people who were not part of any political calculation but could not leave when the situation escalated. Also lost is the complexity of what it means when a sacred space becomes a theater of armed conflict, and what it does to a community when the line between combatant and civilian is blurred in hindsight but is painfully real in the moment. We continue to speak of Operation Blue Star not as an exercise of grievance, but because so many questions remain unresolved in any moral sense that matters. Not everything can be reduced to the binaries of condemnation and justification. Some events leave deeper questions about proportion, accountability, and the cost of state action when it intersects not just with civilian space, but spiritual space. To remember is not to deny complexity. It is to refuse simplification when human lives were involved.